So today we will start with last class I was discussing about the single cell and multi-cell. Okay, so again we'll start with that single cell in detail and multi-cell, and we'll solve some of the problem. Then at the end we will see the what are the loads acting on an aircraft. Okay, so first of all I will move to that thing, the single cell and multi-cell. Okay, now what is the difference between single cell and multi-cell? Now whatever the cell might be, here we all are discussing about thin wall structures. Okay, thin wall cell. Okay, we are discussing about thin walled section. Okay, so already we have said what is mean by thin walled section. Okay, so that means this is the thickness. You can see this one is a thickness, right? And it can be of any sort of beam, a cantilever beam sort of can be, whose the breadth is or it can say the depth is B, whose breadth is L, right? And this will be whatever it is, the length. This might be the length. Okay, now this is a torque applied into this single cell, right? Now in this thing what we are going to do, this is a closed structure, closed thin wall structure. We are going to use in this kind of structure is a Braid-Bratto theorem. Okay, that we have already discussed, the Braid-Bratto theorem, and what is the formula? T equals to 2qa. Okay, now what is a T? T is a torque applied, okay, equals to Q. Q is the shear flow, A is the area. Now area defines what that area defines over here. Area defines here is the L cross B in this particular figure. Now another point we are going to find over here is a twist per unit length. Okay, in some of the textbook you can find the letter called beta, which defines theta, that is angle of twist per unit length. Now this L defines, so if based on this convention, right, let me, if I write H here, this is H, this defines L. Okay, that is the length of this entire beam, not this length. Okay, the length of the entire beam. Now how we can define? Now this can be defined as T by 4a square g closed integral of ds by t. Now how to find this ds by t? That means we have to see which kind of cell it is. If this is A, B, C and D point, this ds refers the perimeter of that particular section. Now if I want to find for ds, then I will write that beta equals to T by 4a square g. Let's consider the thickness is same, so I will take this T outside. Now integration of 0 to AB, integration of, I have to write AB of ds. Now what is a perimeter? It is a length, so we will see what coefficient is that. Okay, so ds of this AB plus, next we have to move for BC. Now perimeter of this BC. Next we are going to move from CD, then we are going to move DA, right? Now what is DS? DS length is B. Okay, now what is BC? BC we have changed to H, right? So this is B, this is H. Now again CD, CD is B, again DA, DS is H. So I can write, then combining together we can write 2B plus 2H by T. So this becomes twist per unit length for this single cell. Okay, now here what happens in the single cell, the shear center remains same in this single cell. So here if it is Q1, here also Q1, here also Q1, this surface will also be Q1. The shear flow will remain constant in a single cell. This is another important concept in this. Okay, the shear flow remains constant across the single cell. Now what happens in case of multi-cell? So this is a figure for a multi-cell. Okay, so here we have taken, let's consider this one as H, not as L. So there might be some confusions. Okay, H. Let me consider H itself. So this is H, 2 cell. So this A, B, C, D is one cell as I've written over here, and C, D, E, F is another cell. Now we here in this figure have 2 cell. Now more than one defines a multi-cell. They are attached together. The CF is a common wall that they're sharing in this 2 different cell. Okay. Now this is H, this is B, this is again H, B, this is H, B, H. Now this is, here we will implement another concept of an when 2 shafts are in parallel. So already have said when 2 shafts are in parallel, so what will happen if there is a common torque acting in the any supporting structure? So what will happen? The angle of twist for both the shaft 1 and shaft 2 are going to be the same. This is another important concept. The angle of twist for any parallel shaft or any component, it is going to be the same. The angle of twist for 1 and 2 going to be the same. But the amount of torsional moment that is acting on both the shaft are going to be the different. They are not going to be equal. They are going to be not equal to. That is T1 is not equals to T2. Right? Now keeping that in mind, so considering that in this multi-cell the length, okay, so here also consider this a length. Along this we have some length, and this is one of the cantilever beam. Okay, the length of both the sail are same. Then when a torque is applied, capital T, then what will happen here? Their twist per unit length are going to be the same. The twist per unit length, twist per unit length going to be the same. That means beta 1 is equals to beta 2. Now what is beta? Beta refers theta 1 by L, that is a length of the beam, okay, length of the beam of the cell 1, and the angle of twist per unit length for the cell 2. Right? This is one condition. Next condition is what happens with a torque. So when there is a torque and there is sail, it will be distributed. The torque will be distributed. That means, so for the cell 1, let's consider it should be T1, and for cell 2 it will be T2. So since the torque is different on both the cell in case of multi-cell condition, so the shear flow for both the cell is going to be different. The shear flow for both the cell, it's going to be a different one. Now if I have to draw the shear flow, means now wherever the direction is, the shear flow is going to be acting on that direction, okay, this direction. Now if I consider the cell 1, so shear flow is going to be like this. It is going Q1, Q again 1, this is Q1, this is Q1. Now here this is a wall, that CF is a point where it is sharing with the cell 2. Now what will happen here is, again here will be having different shear. So see how the shear will be here will be in this direction. The shearing will be occurring in this direction. Now this wall, that is CF, is sharing a different shear flow. One is acting downwards, that is Q1, another is acting upward direction, that is Q2. These are the Q2. Now is this concept clear to all of you? Please let me know. You can unmute. and
Yes,
let me
ma'am.
know, is this concept clear?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Please. Okay, you have understood that. All right. So now let me draw in a fresh page. Okay. Now I was discussing about multi-cell. Right? This is cell 1, this is cell 2, this is a torque where the torque is applied. Then the shear flow over here is Q1. Here it will be, direction is very important. Okay. Now here it will be Q1. This one is again Q1. Now here in the cell 2, the torque will be acting in this way. So here will be Q2. This one is Q2. Here will be again Q2. Here is again Q2. Right? Now here this is A, B, C, D, E, F. Now CF is a common bridge. It's a common bridge. Okay, it's a common bridge. So where both the Q1 and Q2 are in the sharing. They are in the sharing. Now here the main motto, what to do with this facts. Now as I've said, since it is multi-cell, it will act. So when there is a torque, the Q, that is theta 1 with per unit length, is going to be the same as theta 2 per unit length. That is nothing but the beta 1 is equal to beta 2. Now recalling what is beta 1. So beta 1 is, there is a formula. Let's go back and see what is the formula. T by 4a square G. Now here we will take in terms of shear flow. Okay. So we can change the shear flow. Let's utilize this formula. So T by 4 a square by G close integral ds by t. Okay, this was the formula. Now when I'm taking beta 1, that means I'm going to take for T1. This is torque that is acting on the cell 1, and A1, that is area of the cell 1. If the material is same, then G1 is equal to G2. If not, we can consider that also. Okay, so let's assume that the material is same. Okay, let's consider here the materials are same for the simplification. And here what is that? A1 is also equals to A2 equals to A. We can consider. But we cannot consider that T1 is equal to T2. It is not equals to T2. These are the conditions. So let's assume T1 by 4a square G close integral ds by t. Now we know from Brett-Bratto theorem, that is T equals to 2qa. We know that from Brett-Bratto theorem, that is T equals to 2qa. Now we can replace this T in terms of Q. How we can do that? Then 2qa, since it is we are taking for the T1, we can keep all this 1 here, by 4a1 square G close integral ds by t. The thickness also I am taking as constant. Okay. Now this and this will get cancelled off. This and this will get cancelled off. So I will get my beta 1 as Q1 by 2a1 G t of ds. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is, since we have the sections, right, each of the section we have a different, so the Q is a varying one. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take this Q inside 1 by 2a1 gt right? Q ds. Okay, now how to find these facts? So first, again, like same how we have used, close integral of for AB. For AB, Q ds. Now similarly for BC, for CD, no, CF, because we are considering for the cell 1, CF Q ds plus close integral of F A Q ds. Okay, now how to solve further? Beta 1 equals to 1 by 2a1 gt, it will remain constant. Now we need to look after that what is Q. The first we are going to find for AB. Now AB we have this Q1. Okay, AB we have this Q1. So we will write Q1 into, what is ds? This is our dimension was B. This is H. This is again H. This is B. This is H. B. This is H. Okay. So into what is a B? The perimeter is B. Into B. Plus BC. What is a BC? BC we have again Q1. Q1 into what is a perimeter is H. Now CF. Now CF, you can see it is a common one where both are sharing this Q1 and Q2. Now when you are finding for beta 1, what you have to do is plus Q1 minus Q2. Okay, Q1 minus Q2 into, we have the perimeter that is B. Okay, plus we have the next is FA. FA we will move to the next one, is again Q1 we have into H. Now this will be the value of beta 1. Now some of the problems, what they will do, they will give you the value of Q1, they will have the dimension of B. You have to apply all those things and you can find out the theta value. Okay, now is this clear, the beta 1? Now similar way you have to find for beta 2. Now from this equation I can write beta 2 will be 1 by 2a2 gt if the thickness is constant. Now similar way we will write from where? From, let's start from C point, C, D, E, F. Okay, so C integration of CD Q ds plus integration of DE Q ds plus close integration of EF Q ds plus close integration of FC Q ds. Now here what we are going to do, again we are going to implement this value 2a suffix 2 gt. Now Q for CD, what is the value? Q2. So Q2 into ds. ds is a perimeter, so here have the H plus DE. DE again we have Q2, and what is the perimeter is B, or the length, you can consider the length of the perimeter, you can consider. Then EF. EF what we have, again Q2 we have, and we have the perimeter as H. Now FC. FC is a common wall which is sharing both the cell 1 and 2. So when you are finding for the 2 point or the cell with respect to 2, so you have to give importance for the 2. So Q2 minus Q1, okay, into what is the length is B. This will be your beta 2 value. Alright, please let me know, can you follow the steps, follow the concept? Okay, alright. So this formation is very important. Now in your exam they might ask you this kind of problem, right? They will give you one kind of semicircle, they will give you the radius. Now in case of this thing, how you are going to find out? If they give you a semicircle, right, they give you a semicircle. Now what will be the ds? The procedure is going to be the same thing. The procedure is going to be the same. But how to find ds? Here you are going to use to find out the perimeter. Okay, what is the perimeter? Here it is semicircle. So you are going to write 2r. You are going to use 2r instead of the ds for this thing. Right? Other things going to be the same. Right. Now next, this is for the beta 1 and beta 2. Now further what you have to do is, now how to find out this T1 and T2? How to find out this T1 and T2? Now as I've said, for that multi-cell problem, T equals to T1 plus T2. Now from the Breit-Bratto theorem, we know T equals to 2QA. Now for the T1, what we will find? 2Q1 into A1. T2 becomes 2Q2 into A2. Now this, let's consider this is equation 1, this is equation 2, equation 3. Now we are going to substitute equation 2 and 3 in equation 1. So if we substitute, T becomes 2Q1 A1 plus 2Q2 A2. Okay, so 2 becomes common, so Q1 A1 plus Q2 A2. Right? Now here beta 1 you will be getting some value, right? Beta 1 and beta 2 will be getting, so that will have some equations, right? That will have some equation. So if by numerically you can solve the unknown parameters and you will get the result. Okay, so we will see some of the problems like that. So let's look in the very first problem. Okay, so you will have the clarity. A thin wall beam of constant thickness shown in the figure is subjected to a torque of 3.2 kilonewton meter. Always take care of the units, okay? Always. So whenever they have given this, try to convert that in terms of SI unit. So 3.2 means 3.2 into 10 power 3 Newton meter. If the shear modulus, that is G value, they have given is 25 gigapascal. So 25 into 10 power 9 pascal, that is Newton per meter square. The angle of twist per unit length we need to find in terms of radian per meter. Round off to 3 decimal places. So this is also very important thing in the question. They will be giving you how many decimal places, or it is round off to integers. So you have to be very careful about it. Now in this problem they have given this figure. So from here you can find out that what is the thickness. Thickness remains constant, it is clearly understandable. Now H becomes 10 and B becomes 40 mm. Now this mm you can directly convert in terms of meter, that is you can write 0.1 meter and this is 0.4 meter and this is 2 into 10 power 3 meter. Now here you have to find out the beta value. Now what is beta? Beta is 2 by 4 a square g closed integral of ds by t. This is a formula, right? Here you no need to use the Q formula because torque is already given over here. Area, what will be the area? Area is only H cross B. You will find out the area. G is given. What is ds? ds will be, as you have to find for all the perimeters. Let's consider A, B, C, D point by T. Okay. Now solve this and tell me the answer. in the chat box. Tell me the answer in the chat box. Can write down in the chat box.
Hello. Hello.
Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Am I audible? Okay. You are getting 0.01. See, whenever you are answering, see in the question they have asked round off to 3 decimal places. They have asked. Even here they have asked round off to 3 decimal places. That means accordingly you write down in the chat box. Accordingly write down in the chat box. I must see whatever it comes in the first, right? Then if it is 0, 0.0 whatever it is coming, 4 decimal places, sorry 3 decimal places. I request all of you to answer. Try to solve. Okay. Absolutely, you have to write like that. Mohit, it's good. So, whatever it comes, you will get something like by L. So, you need to substitute all those things, and after that is you will get T by 4a square gt, and here you will get 0.1 plus 0.4 plus 0.1, again 0.4 will be coming over here, and when you solve that, and you should get 0.010 radian per meter. This is the answer. Okay, round off to 3 decimal places, right? Shall I move to next question? Okay, this is another type of question, so let's look into it. A thin wall tube with a cross section shown in figure is subjected to a torque of T. So again they have given, the torque has been given over here. The wall has uniform thickness. The thickness has been given. The shear modulus has been given. Assume that the curved portion is semicircular. Okay, so this is the semicircular. the shear wall in the shear stress in the wall is. So here you need to find out the tau value. Round off to 1 decimal place. See, these are all the online exams, so everything has been predefined. So if they're asking for 1 decimal place, you have to write in 1 decimal place only. Okay, so you have to take care of and read the question very carefully. Okay, now how you're going to solve this? Now first of all, you need to identify whether it is a single cell problem or it is a multi-cell problem. That is very important. So first you tell me whether it is a single cell or multi-cell. Please write down in the chat box. First tell me whether it is a single cell or it is a multi-cell problem. Very good. It is a single cell problem. Okay. So in this single cell, so you know what is going to happen. The shear will be going to be the same. So in the closed section, right? So if I consider from this point, this is one point called A, B and C point, right? So, and the torque is applied in this way, that is T, that is 1 kilo Newton meter, that is 10 power 3 Newton meter, right? So it's going to be Q. So T equals to 2QA, right? Now what is this A? A can be find the area. One is a semicircular, another is a triangular. So find out and tell me. So after you find out this A, right? So the Q value is unknown. Now what they asked to find? The tau value. So there is another formula for tau. That is Q equals to tau into T. I hope you remember. So from that you can find tau, that is shear stress, equals to Q by T, and whatever comes will be your answer. Now here how to find the area? Area will be the combination of the semicircle. Okay, semicircle, that is here. Another is the plus the right angle triangle, that is half BH, and this is pi pi by 4, usually it will be, then pi into 2, then we'll have 8, right? So using this formula you can find out this. Here radius is given 50 mm. So again you need to convert that in terms of meter. And here one more thing, the answer they have asked in terms of megapascal. Okay, so accordingly you have to find out the result. Here also mm, here they have given meter, here they have given gigapascal. Always you need to convert the unit in a proper way. Okay, solve this problem and tell me what is the answer you are getting. So here round off to 1 decimal place. No, check your answer properly. Check the answer, Mohit. Any other answer? Do you want me to solve this problem? It's a very simple problem. Guys, just let me know. Do you want me to solve this problem? Just write down in the chat box if you are unable to find the answer. Okay, so let me solve it for you. So first of all, you need to find out what is the area. So when you use this formula, right, or you can also use pi r square, since r value is given, by 2 plus half into this length, this is capital L, let's consider it's capital length, into the again twice of r. Okay, so this will get cancelled off, and when you solve this problem you get something like 0.0323 meters square. Okay, that is the area. Okay, so T equals to, we know, 2qa. Now our motto is to find shear stress, so T equals to 2 into tau into T into A. So tau becomes T by 2TA. Right? Now substituting the values, T value 1 10 power 3 divided by 2 into thickness is 2 into, okay, thickness we have 1 into 10 power minus 3, area becomes 0.0323. right? Solve this and you will get something like 17.24 into 10 power 6 Pascal. Okay, so here they ask in megapascal, so 17.24 megapascal. Now they have asked second is 1 round off to 1 decimal places, so you can write the answer 17.24, let me take 2 megapascal, and the answer ranges from 17.0 to 17.5. that is the answer they have given. Absolutely. Okay, all right, now moving to this another different kind of problem. See, this is very easy problem they have asked. So they have given a 2-cell tube with wall thickness has been given, okay, is subjected to a torque of 10 Newton meter. The resulting shear flow in the two cells are Q1 and Q2. Okay, so that means here one torque has been applied, capital T, which is 10 Newton meter. Okay, they have given the dimensions of the cell. Now the torque balancing for the Bredbacher formula for this section. That means what you have to do is they are asking in terms of Q1 plus Q2. then you have to understand that they are asking t equals to t1 plus t2 value. Okay, so what is t1? 2 q1 a1 plus 2 q2 a2. Here you just need to find out the area. Here both the area is same, right? Here both the area, because dimensions are same, right? And tell me what will be the right option. So write down in the chat box which is the right option. Using this method, t equals to t1 plus t2, find out the area, substitute it, and tell me what will be the answer for this. Yes. So without solving also you can directly write down this answer. You know why? Because once you see the areas are same, that means a1 is going to be a2 equals to a, right? And here we have both 2 into q1 and this thing, so 2a will remain constant and q1 plus q2 and whatever it is in this side. Because other option, if you see, either of the way we have 2 q1 plus q2, then here we have q1 plus 2 q2, then here minus, because here we don't have any sort of minus sign. So directly we can choose the C is the right option, that is q1 plus q2 equal to 2000 Newton per meter. Okay. So there are a lot many different kind of problems you can solve. So this is another kind of problem they have asked, right? So that we will solve. Now we will cover a very important topic, another small but important topic, the loads acting on an aircraft. Okay. So here basically we should know that where these loads are acting. Okay, different kind of loads that they are acting on an aircraft. So basically there are of 7 different types of loads that are acting on an aircraft. Okay, 7 different types. So first one is air load. Second one is inertial load. Third one is load due to power plant. Fourth is load due to landing. Fifth one is load due to takeoff. Sixth one is the load due to taxiing. Seventh one is others. Okay, now here you have to remember what are the different types of load that will happen within this different types of loads. Okay, now when we talk about air load, in this air load, for an example, maneuver, that means whenever the aircraft is moving or climbing, gliding, okay, changing its control surfaces, or we can say component deflection. Okay, these are the loads can act due to this air load, or when there is a deflection there will be some amount of air load. Then gust, that is heavy wind, turbulency, right? Then your component interaction. So if there may be a combination of wing and fuselage, there will be some kind of aerodynamic characteristics within those components. If it is a biplane, if the wing and the tail are so closely connected with each other, there will be a different kind of air loads. So all those things that are connected with this air load. Now, in addition to that, sometimes this aircraft can lead to an violent due to this formation of air load, which can lead that aircraft to vibrate. Okay, that vibration is called as a buffet, and this buffet mechanism, the vibration that it will cause an aircraft, that means an aircraft will lead to an vibration which will not lead to any sort of destruction. Okay, that will remains constant. Okay, but whereas when we consider the aircraft is in motion or in acceleration, okay, or in dynamics, right, sometimes due to of the gusty wind, due to heavy gusty wind, that can lead to an vibration, and that vibration defines the flutter, and this flutter is so severe enough that it will lead to the destruction of aircraft component. Destruction of aircraft component. Okay, is that clear? The difference between buffet and flutter. Now I can also say in terms of, you might be knowing vibration, so upcoming session we will look into the vibration also. Now vibration can be defined with the amplitude with respect to time. Okay, so with change in time, right, this buffet, what happens, the amplitude of vibration remains almost constant, or sometimes it can lead to an damp. Damp means damped. Okay, damped. Damped means this amplitude is gradually comes down and brings to zero. That means slowly and gradually it will come down. The vibration will gradually fall. Okay, this is a buffet. But whereas flutter, what it happens as we change in time, if I have to draw a graph of a flutter with change in amplitude, what happens, or with respect to time, this amplitude rises further enough, or it gets diversified as it change in time. It doesn't come back. So what happens, due to that, it initiate a small amount of vibration, initiate the another rise in amplitude. Okay, so due to that, it leads to an destruction of any component or any twist. So if there is a twist formation in an aircraft, then aerodynamic characteristics will change. If aerodynamic characteristics changes, then it will lose its control and finally leads to an destruction of an aircraft. Okay, next comes to load due to power plant. It's very simple because of the engine locations, the placement, the amount of thrust or amount of torque produced by the engine. So all those things, it will create some kind of loading system. So that comes under the load due to power plant. Landing, it's very simple again. So while landing, there will be high amount of impact load. Okay, impact load, or I can say braking load, right, when it is applying the brakes just after landing, right. So all those things, loads that will act due to landing. Takeoff also, the same fact will happen during takeoff. So there may be some kind of crosswind or some kind of impact load or roughness of the runway during takeoff. All those things will comes under this load due to takeoff. Taxiing means when the aircraft is moved from the ATC center to the destination of the takeoff, right. So it depends on the surface of the road, whether there is any bumper or is there any turning. The surface finishing of the runway is not sufficient, it will get a jerk to the aircraft. So that kind of loads will be acting due to the path of taxiing. Now coming to the others, in others it will come like all sort of other kind of loading. Maybe there may be some kind of loading due to towing process, maybe some kind of jacking process, mooring process, whatever the maintenance process we have. So all those things, the others will come. Even if there is a bird strike, okay, bird strike or the locust strike, okay, if there is sudden due to the maintenance, if anything fell down while maintenance, okay, if any kind of instruments or tools fall down over the aircraft surface, all those things comes under the loads acting on an aircraft. Now it depends whether we are these loads are acting on the static condition or in the dynamic condition or any sort of testing conditions. Okay, so these are the basic loads that are acting on an aircraft. Okay, so I hope it is understood to you. Now any questions from your end?
Ma'am, am I audible?
Samarth, I am unable to hear you.
Ma'am, am I
You can write
audible?
down in the chat box, Samarth. You can write down in the chat box. Load due to taxing. Okay, load due to taxing means, see, taxing means from the ATC center, the aircraft is moving to the destination just before takeoff or just after landing. Okay, it is coming back to the ATC center, either of the way. Now what happens during this in between transaction? So there may be some runway, that means the taxiing pathway is not properly aligned, the surface is not even. So what will happen if the roads are very bad? So it will get bumped. Okay, there will be some jerk in the landing gear, there will be jerk in the aircraft, because when either it is in it is in motion, it is moving from one point to another point, right? So that is the load due to the form of taxing. Okay, that is a bumpers or any during taxing, if the aircraft is turning, right, there will be a zigzag way to reach the destination of takeoff or coming back after landing, right? So all those things comes under the category of the taxi. All right. Okay, so all right, what's the time? Okay, that's great, I have finished on time. So today I just wanted to cover this particular topic, right? So any other questions you have?
Ma'am, tomorrow's class timing.
Please ask if you have any other question.